I felt that it's not just me as an employee in the company, but also me as a woman, which is seen in that company. So when I feel very bad, but then that was about 35 years ago, almost 35 years ago. But a lot has changed since then. You know, that was an older time. We have really crossed many bridges since that time of 86, 87. The current scenario is very different. So when I look across, the manufacturing enterprises, they are celebrating the engagement of women on the shop floor. And some of these companies are breaking stereotypes and opening up new career opportunities for working women, and mostly for the jobs on the factory floor, as I said, which was in past a prerogative only of the men. You would have read about the Ola Electric or the Future Factory, Ola Future Factory in Tamil Nadu, which is manufacturing the first electric scooters in India. In September 21, this company was covered by almost all the news channel when the chairman and the CEO of the group announced that the manufacturing of Ola Future Factory is planned to be run entirely by women. Thereby, Ola Future Factory is the largest all-women factory in the world. The factory proposes to employ around 10,000 men once the production process gets on full capacity. The Ola Future Factory also shared that they have invested significantly to train and upskill women in core manufacturing skills, and these trained women will be responsible for the entire production of every vehicle manufactured in Ola Future Factory. Looking on the other side, Mahindra & Mahindra, they've hired about 150 women for its automotive and farm equipment manufacturing facility. The Eicher Motor, and you would have seen the Royal Enfield, you know, the motorcycle, which is really one of the iconic piece. They have an entire engine assembly line managed by 140 women. In early 2021, that is last year, Schwingstetter, you would have noticed their concrete mixers, you know, the big machines which you see on the highway moving from one place to the other. They hired women to work on the shop floor for the first time in its new factory in Tamil Nadu. Women there make up around 15% of the 120 factory employers hired so far this year, that is since early 21 to 22, and they're involved in making huge machines used for construction. This company hopes to raise the percentage of women employed within the company workforce in the coming years, and they are looking at something like targeting 20% of the women employee. This company has also provided the hostel facilities to accommodate their women employees while also offering an after-work program. So they're part of a scheme called Learn and Earn. I'm sure NTTF will also be able to talk about that and update us on that wonderful scheme, which they are also running quite well. And this company, Stetter, is also training women under the scheme so that by the end of 5 years, when they leave the company, they have a degree with them, helping them in upgrading their career. The Daimler India commercial vehicles under the brand name of Mercedes, based in Tamil Nadu, they onboarded 46 women employees, a first time in the factory as part of the diversity and inclusive initiative. This company plans to hire more women until they make up 20% of the factory workforce by the end of 2022. And the women who are hired in this factory work in the key roles like engine and transmission building and quality management, and also in the paint shop. Daimler, to attract the women, they made sure that the women restrooms, you know, the infrastructure which is required for the women, the restroom, the changing room, etc., is also provided well in advance. And besides that, they gave gender sensitivity training to their males as a preparatory step to invite the women to work in their production units. Hindustan Unilever Limited, we all know about this company. In the nail product factory in Haridwar, that is Uttarakhand, that factory is being run by all-women team since 2015. So it's been almost 7 years now, or getting to be 7 years. So after the management decided to hire women on the factory floor, there was a productivity jump, which was noticeable. And also the 90% zero quality defect was introduced, or it came in. And also there was no attrition. So in 2019, out of the 39 women employees, 4 had reached the managerial level, 11 were at the executive level, and 24 are at the blue collar level. So you see the women are there and they're also rising up the ladder. Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages. So these are just some of the examples, I would like to bring so that we can also use that for discussion later. Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages in Gujarat, Anand, they have the employment ratio of 60-40, where 60 men and 40% women. And these women, they work across all the shift. They handle forklift. You would have seen, these equipment which carry heavy loads. So these women are doing all kind of work which earlier used to be meant only for men. So currently there are 34 women working in this factory and managing multiple kind of jobs. Kirloskar Brother, that's a very interesting case. Around 200 women have been working with the Kirloskar Brother pump manufacturing factory near Coimbatore since 2010, so almost 12 years, you can say. And these women, they figured in Limca Book of Record because they were able to reduce the assembly time for pump by around 17 seconds, right? So that was a great achievement for these women. Around 105 women are semi-skilled, 12 are in the support services and unskilled. The rest are skilled and trained to manage critical operations of the factory. SEAT, the tire company, in early 2021, they opened an all-women operated customer service center in Bhatinda, Punjab. The services offered in these centers include wheel changing, balancing, operating of machinery, etc. Titan, the watchmaking company in Pantnagar and also in Hosur. In Pantnagar, 85% of the workforce is women, and the productivity and agility that women bring to the work is also much higher. The Hosur factory of Titan is again all women factory in the assembly line. And it's been so for a number of years already, right? Vedanta Group, the mining giants, they employ 2,100 women amongst almost 17,000 workers in mining, crane operation, and other factory roles across its group companies. And they have also appointed women as security guard in the factory, designed the workwears and PPEs to suit the women security guards. Then besides, we all know about the IT and ITS companies. You see the Tata Consultancy Services, they employ the highest number of women in India, followed by Infosys, which is about almost, you can say 40% of the employee are women, which is then followed by Wipro, which has about 72,000 women employees. So these are some of the major women employees which have been figuring in various articles in news, and they're worth looking at. The idea is to understand why are these doing better while others cannot do so well. And there are many more, which I would not like to bring in, otherwise the entire time will go in that. And the only thing is that almost all of these are the large companies. And they have been, or they are now planning to promote women participation in the workforce in various roles. And besides, these companies are also liked by women because they provide all kind of social security. They have the maternity leave benefits, they have the paid holidays, they have the provident funds, and other, like privileges being provided also to women employees. If there was an interview of the CEOs of these companies, and they said that if they have to attract women into manufacturing, they should give them 360. They arrange for the hostel to accommodate who joined afresh in the companies. And these are basically the new graduates in their early 20s. And also offered the after-work training program so that they could also obtain additional qualification. The Daimler India, ahead of onboarding the women employees, they prepare the infrastructure so that the women are given equal facility in the company, and they don't, find it awkward working in the shop floor. Titan has a very interesting policy. So what they do is they make effort to meet the families of the women, and engage with them so that they're able to discuss with them and reduce the concern that the families have regarding the safety, the monetary incentives, etc. And also they try to bring the required infrastructure like school for the children, the crutches, etc. in the vicinity so that the woman doesn't need to worry so much about everything that is going on outside of her work and is able to concentrate better on her work. Besides, they also have cultural clubs so that they can bring women together after the working hours and hold various, workshops and games, etc. Titan and Vedanta, they both are also considering opening many more factories and with women as the manufacturing, the shop floor manufacturer. So one thing that has happened over the years is the change in the technology in these companies. The increased mechanization that is happening enabled the women to actually handle all the machines which were heavy, which required many more people to manage rather than only a single person. And with COVID coming in, everything became expedited, because if you really see, there were some machines which were being handled by a team of people, could be 2 or 3 people at the same time. And with the restrictions under COVID, the companies had to rethink about this strategy and introduce modern technology wherein only one person could handle the entire machine using a joystick or a remote or something. And this is where the women had a better opportunity to really step in the shoes of the men and start taking over these manufacturing functions. So in recent decade, we see that women in India have broken away and are also breaking away from the traditional roles as homemakers to join the workforce. Those with education and training gravitate to corporate roles in accounting, banking, information technology, while only few seek the opportunities in the manufacturing industry. And on the other hand, many more companies are also wanting to employ women workforce. These companies which engage women strongly believe that having women workforce brings in a completely different perspective on the shop floor. Women bring different kind of skills on board. They bring different personalities, characters, etc. The presence of women creates a different culture and attitude in the factory. Women are more serious about what is expected from them, which in turn makes the men more sincere. Also, having more women employees improves discipline, quality, and also the output. Many times, the precision, dexterity, and ability to sit in one place for hours on end, work ethics, loyalty, and the lower attrition rates make women attractive talent pool for companies, and especially those which are actually working in the small parts or goods. And we can consider these all the electronic companies, the watchmaking companies, etc. However, though there are a number of large companies which are coming forward to recruit women and provide them upskilling, reskilling, and employ them, a research by GE and Avatar released early this year in 2022 shows that women make up for only 12% of India's manufacturing sector, which kind of employs about 27.3 million people. And that is a very small figure as compared to the larger bulk that is possible. So this number is awfully low, even when women representation in manufacturing sector has increased over the last couple of years by 4 points. So it was 8% in 2019, but that still is a very, very low number. The research release says that inhibiting factors for workforce participation of women in the Indian context include gaps in education attainment, social norms, restrictive institutional framework, etc., which in the manufacturing sectors are compounded by challenges related to physical safety, infrastructural gap, legal and regulatory challenges, shift working, conscious or unconscious biases in promotion or recruitment of women, amongst other things. So India, women's workforce participation rate is amongst the lowest in the world and has in the total overall labor force participation rate, the percentage of women has actually decreased, from 26.4%, which was in 2005, to 19.9% in 2020. And this is as per the World Bank data, of course, taken from the NSSOs. So women in manufacturing has shown a slight increase, but overall labor force participation rate for women has been declining, and that is a matter of concern. So I would like to quote another study which was conducted in 2018 by researchers at the Harvard Kennedy School, which shows that women labor force participation drop among women in their early to mid 20s in urban areas, suggesting that the marriage and family related responsibilities mainly these are the ones which are mainly limiting women's labor force participation. For women who do productive employment, it is more difficult to get adequate remuneration as compared to their male counterparts. Also, like looking at the salary index, which was by the Monster released in 2018, the between 2015 and 2017, the gender pay gap in India remained at 24.3% on average in the favor of men. As many employers anticipate that the women employers will eventually file for maternity leave, they are paid less because somehow, like the company wants to compensate maternity leave by reducing their pay, all those factors. So it's well accepted that enabling women with economic opportunity improves not just the life, but also the family, the life of the family, the standard of the family, and indeed the whole community. In fact, studies have also shown that just providing women parity in the labor workforce can grow India's GDP by almost 27%. To progress, this initiative requires active and conscious efforts from all the ends, especially in manufacturing where the participation remained lowest, and which is just about 12%, as I mentioned earlier. For India to be the world's manufacturing hub, as we are aiming to be, we must prioritize upskilling and generating employment of our women workforce. I have a couple of more minutes, Madhuri. I'll just take about 4 minutes more. Okay, thank you. Some of the factors which have caused the decline in women workforce participation are one, of course, is the biggest, the cultural attitude. What we see is that though economic and structural factors matter, societal attitude towards women and work play a key role in determining the women's labor force participation rate. The widespread belief that when women work for wages is many a time seen as an indicator of low family status. And this happens also in places like Delhi. It's not just a small town issue, but even in Delhi, I've met families, where they say, why should we let our girls work? We are earning good enough and we can take care of them. And they will be married in better houses where their husband will be able to take care of them. So they don't see women, as in a positive role when they are actually working. And from the high status families, again, women are less likely to work because they have money, they have that security issues and other factors like getting married at an early age, etc. So even amongst the many educated women with moderate level of education, they withdraw from the labor force early. One explanation for this is that such women are able to marry into richer families and they don't need to engage in paid work to support their family. Also, they say that women with moderate education are valued for the ability to manage domestic tasks that require literacy, such as schooling children and taking care of the elderlies at home. In 2016, India passed an amendment to the Maternity Benefit Act, providing 26 weeks of paid leave for mothers, but placed the entire cost burden on the employers. So though this was a great incentive for women, somehow the manufacturers, they saw it as disincentive and they kind of reduced their intake of women as the labor force. And above all, we are moving towards the jobless growth. So again, like when there are limited number of employers, they somehow prefer to recruit men for the same place as against the women. So unless there are jobs, the education and especially the skilling, the skill training, which is also kind of creating, which is also inhibiting women's participation in manufacturing area. So if we look at the skill development area, it's only 4% Indian youth have formal vocational skills. And this leads to a vicious cycle. And because it's low productivity that they're leading into, they are also getting low wages. Higher productivity can be achieved only through skilling and
Looks like we have lost connection with Anita. We'll just wait for a minute and let's see if she's coming back. Looks like an internet problem at her end. Yeah, in the meanwhile, I will just take a minute to
okay,
brief
hi.
you.
My problem was,
Yeah,
I
there,
don't know.
you're back. Are you connected,
Yeah,
Anita?
I'm here.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Please
here,
go ahead. Yeah,
right?
please go ahead.
So very quickly, I like to wind up. I'm connected. Yes, I can hear you, right? Sure, sure. So looking at the skill development area, one positive approach has, like the
Uh, Anita, maybe you can try by switching off the video. Are you able to hear me? Okay, looks like there is a connectivity problem at her end. Uh, in the meantime, what I would do is just to
I'm sorry,
yeah,
it seems that
uh, Anita, we are not able to hear you
from
at
the
all.
4%, which was in December 2016.
Could you please re-log in after a while, Anita? We will proceed with the other
Uh,
speakers in the meantime. Okay, so let us continue till I think Anita logs in back, maybe. That would probably help her in resolving the internet issue. So, so as I was introducing the other speakers, as I said, I would do so after the keynote. And Anita, thank you so much for giving us such an illuminating talk this morning. And please come back whenever you can re-establish the connection. We would like to hear you close your talk and all the information you shared regarding the companies, the big companies in India, their women employee friendly policies, and the social security and many other aspects of women participation in the workforce productivity. But one important point Anita made was to mention that in India, in the manufacturing sector, women participation is extremely low, and it is quite a grim situation. But today, on the occasion of Women's Day, when the theme is about breaking the bias, break the bias, as it says, we have few women on our panel who perhaps show us the hope and show us that there is a way to break the bias and create our own paths and then go ahead in the manufacturing sector. So I would like to introduce you the other speakers now and request Anita to come back after a while and also mention to you that one of the important training organizations in India, with whom we have collaborated to bring you this edition of our webinar is NTTF. NTTF has been doing really outstanding work in terms of manufacturing training, and also in many centers of NTTF, there are women who are not only undergoing training, but there are faculty members who are women, and there are other women achievers, connected with their ecosystem. And today we have also invited one of them. She will share her story in a while. But before her, I would like to invite Harini KP, who's currently holding an important position in the government of Tamil Nadu, Department of Employment and Training. She's the Assistant Director, IT Cell. And before this, she was a Vice Principal of ITI Ambattur. And Harini is someone who has, out of choice, been in the technical field and also held leadership positions. So we would like to hear from her about her story. So Harini, please tell us more about your journey in the ITI Ambattur, in the entire ecosystem of ITI, and also how women were taking up different courses, and what are your observations, and more about, what is your dream for women who want to be in the technical and manufacturing sector.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunities, Madhuri. And I'm wishing you a very happy Women's Day to all. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So I am Harini. I'm working as an assistant director in the Department of Employment Training, Tamil Nadu. And I have worked as a vice principal in government IT Ambattur. So my part is like we used to train students who work in the industries. So as I can see, like the participation in the ITAs also is very low for the women, and like we are motivating the girl students to join more in the manufacturing industry. But the thing is, like the manufacturing sector should provide more like safety and security and infra for the women who work. There are a lot of courses which are available in Ambattur ITI, like computer operating and systems, and there are hardware system, and there are automobile sector, and draftsman, civil and manufacturing sectors like fitter, electrician, and plumber. But the thing is, like the women who come for the training, they opt for the things which are like the women who can work in one place, like in a computer system or designing part on the automobile, or draftsman civil course, which is majorly a part of like civil industry, where they do CAD designing or paper like designing and planning. Like currently there is a trend, like they understand the benefits of the work where they get a job easily. And the government sector, and the government of Tamil Nadu, they provide 40% reservation for the women. So they make women, they are motivating women to join more in the manufacturing and the service sectors. And I am basically from the service sector. I have worked in an IT company for like 5 years. Now, and like after college, so I have seen like many women, they opt to, even from the different departments, they opt for the IT or computer science sector, and they hesitate to join in a core company because due to the infra they provide, they are hesitant about how it would be like working in a manufacturing sector. So currently there is a trend, like there are a lot of improvements in manufacturing sector. The COVID has been a boon to women during this time. Like I have seen many people who work from home for a service sector, and there are a lot of designing parts in automobile, and the manual work, as ma'am has already told, Anita ma'am have already told, the physical work has been reduced in every industry, and they are going out opted for the automation of each department, which help the women to engage more in the manufacturing. And recently, some companies have provided the period leave for every woman. Like they can opt for one leave in a month. Like women face a lot of issues like hormonal imbalance. They face a PPD, and they face like their familial issues to take care of the children. So I'm starting in trend even in the MSMEs. The MNC usually they provide some infra for women to have a nursing break. They can take care of children. As per rule, the company, if they have more than 20 employees, they have to provide a system to take care of children like creches or play school. But the thing is like it has not been established in every company. But currently, I've seen like MSMEs, they join as a cluster and they form a creche or play school for children to take care when their mother work in the manufacturing sector, which makes women to work. They motivate them to work in the manufacturing industries. So we are currently in the training part to the students, and I see like there is an increase in the women participation in the ITIs. We are encouraging them to like join different courses, take up electrician or wireman and do their best. And they get an opportunities because opportunities are waiting for them since we have a separate reservation for them, they can get job easily. So we are creating awareness to them to join in a different skill sector, even in the automobile right now. So Madhuri, do we have more time or?
Yes, yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So I have been working in ITA vice principal for like past 2 years, and I have seen many women candidates who are ready to work in the night shifts, even the rotational shift, and even on the weekends. The mostly the manufacturing sector is like it seemed to be for the economical challenge for now. Though those who are better at their social status, they go for something like say for example, to be in a office job, 9 to 5 job. But economically challenged, and they opt for the manufacturing where they do the more physical work. So this thing has to be changed, and the companies who provide uh, any manufacturing work, they should go ahead and form some infra for women to work. Apart from the business motive, they have to go ahead to create some infra to engage more women in the sector, and it should come as a policy like they should engage some percent of women. So it should happen. I hope many women join in the manufacturing sector sooner or later. So it will happen, increasing the technology as soon as the technology parts have been increased. There are a lot of IoT and data in artificial intelligence. So many things which has been done by physical work by human work can be replaced by automation. So as these things, if these things increases, women can take part easily in any kind of manufacturing, which make them to feel safe and secured, and their needs would have been satisfied. Yeah, like they feel hesitated to manufacturing because it involves a lot of physical work. So these things will be reduced, and they can be a part in the manufacturing.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Harini. I think that was a very good gist of what it means to work in manufacturing sector. Particularly, you have also, highlighted two important aspects of how manufacturing sector, especially in the MSME clusters, when they come together, how they can they can really help women to work in the MSME cluster. And also another important thing with this sector is that nobody can work from home as long as you're, in the solid manufacturing sector where you have to go to the factory or the environment where things are being produced. So that's another very important point you raised. So please stay on, Harini. There could be questions for you, or we might have few points for you. Yeah. Sure. Next, I welcome Ms. Rajalakshmi. Ms. Rajalakshmi is, she has a very interesting story, and I would like her to tell her story. And, the important thing about inviting Rajalakshmi is that, she was one of the early ones to break the bias in the manufacturing industry in terms of getting into tool and die making, which perhaps 3 decades ago was not something women would go out of choice. But then she had that passion and that interest, and she has built her career around that. So let's hear it from her. So welcome to this webinar, Ms. Rajalakshmi. Please go ahead and share your inspirational story so that we hear a very different perspective about the manufacturing sector, manufacturing industry, and how you have loved to be a part of it.
Thank you, Madhuri. And good day and happy Women's Day to all. I have more to tell about the interesting things about manufacturing world in relation to my experience. Unlike the statistics or the other perspective, when I consider my 4 decades long journey with manufacturing world is really promising, rewarding, and for me it is thrilling too. And though it is, of course, it is a sophisticated atmosphere, requires a different skill sets altogether. But it is an area where we can take up challenges, we can upskill ourselves, and we can go forward for a good career. As far as I suggest people who are taking up from the young age at the level of training age, when you take up manufacturing as a educational subject or a passion, I suggest that it should be considered not as a salaried job, rather than it should be a promising career, so that you can concentrate on that and come up in a very step-by-step level. Though I should also tell that manufacturing environment is not a very fast, there is the growth, career growth is though slow, but it is very steady and it is promising, and wherever on the globe you have a place in manufacturing. I was a student of NTTF, and that was almost 4 decades plus ago. And at that time, as you all know, the challenges or the support from society or even from our own family, because we are not aware like what is that we are going to face. So it was not very promising or very encouraging, but we have to, when we take it as a challenge, it is really really a promising thing. So when I joined in NTTF, that was quite some time ago, as I was telling. From then onwards, the total life of my attitude or my activities or my thinking towards the profession, everything got changed. And I was the lone female tool and die student at that institute, probably for the whole NTTF and for the whole country. So it was that time 75% of practical and maybe 25% of theory. That ratio was there, and those days there was no or facilities or equipments for doing manufacturing things. So we have to handle it, we have to lift the things, and a lot of physical efforts was required for that. It was tough, it was really, really tough. But then it was encouraging, or it was rather than, it was interesting too. And for those days, it was 4 years. So after 4 years, I joined NTTF tool room. Then it was a very sophisticated tool room where we had some good machineries. And I started, make it short, I started my career from working in shop floor in real tool and die making. I worked in most of the machines. Then the thing I did or I concentrated was whatever opportunities came on my way, I could, luckily, I could grab that and I could attempt that. So based on that, we grow and we get more opportunities like. So after that, 5 years I worked, and then I started a tool room, a sophisticated tool room in Bangalore itself, in Jigani industrial area in Bangalore. And I was there with that, and we were supplying to all MNCs, good companies like Bosch, Molex, IFB, and many other companies, of course, for small scale industries too. We had then the CNC machines, but not only CNC, we had conventional machines. We have to do whatever manufacturing environment has to do. And one or two incidents, small incidents I will share with you. Like when I go to customers for a discussion, it was something new for them to discuss. A female member is coming for a discussion, and they just they ask, you don't have a real technical person. They don't consider me as a technical person. That was it. So I faced such questions, but it was not anybody's mistake. That was the society, that was the industrial sector. We have to manage. What I find is when we really concentrate and perform well, nobody can deny us. Nobody can keep us aside. And though those days it was a men's world, I really don't consider it as a men's world, because it is who made it as a men's world, because we don't attempt, it became men's world. And no man will deny you if you are performing and giving the real output. And if your only thing is, very initially, with my experience, I can tell, when we do something, we have to do maybe 150 times or 200 times just to prove that we can do it, and for people to accept it. But then once we prove, or once we are in the situation, we can definitely go forward with that. Then later, I had my professional journey as an entrepreneur. I had multiple entrepreneur attempts. Then I was a tooling professional. I was a training and manufacturing expert in different levels, different positions. And right now I'm having a training facility for giving training in mechanical and tool and die design, and also in manufacturing side. And we also conduct various skill development programs for individuals and industries. Our trainees include trainees from different other countries also. They join in online training, and we give training facility too. Madhuri, the time is over.
Okay, thank you. You can go on for another minute in case you want to wrap up. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So what I want to tell about this manufacturing sector is educational system in relation to industrial requirement is very, very important. And there are lots of opportunities for women, since women can be more productive in manufacturing, provided they have, we have to give them more awareness, and it should be widely, the requirement should be widely introduced in the educational system, thereby valued by the society. And the training system should have systematic and real customized training programs, and also the requirement of train-to-trainer programs, because training the trainers are more important in the training industry, training field. Okay, Madhuri.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Rajalakshmi, for narrating your story so very beautifully. I deliberately did not have any formal introduction for her, but then I thought she will be saying it out herself. So, a journey which has crossed 4 decades. And today she has her own training center called Mantra Lisang. I hope I have pronounced it correctly,
Yeah,
where she is the
correct.
technical head as well. And, one important point I think she made is that we usually keep saying, okay, that's male dominated, and then the way she said it was very beautiful, I thought, and we should make a note of it. It's male dominated unless women go and start working there and doing the same things and proving and performing, right? I think that's what, is the difference here. And that's the kind of steps she took. And she has been, recognized internationally, and we are proud to have her amongst us today. Thank you, Ms. Rajalakshmi. Please stay on. You might get some questions. Now, we would like to
Thank
go
you.
ahead and, speak to the other panelists and learn from them as well. As I said in the beginning of this webinar, we wanted to get a holistic perspective about women in manufacturing, skills, training programs, jobs, and also the type of the information about women enrollment in courses and women placement and attrition and many other things. So there is this important administrative angle also that we wanted to bring in. And to give us information on this, we have Ms. Geeta from NTTF Dharwad. So Ms. Geeta Pandit, please share your views and your observations from the administrative point of view. She's the officer there, and she's going to give us more information. Yeah.
Yes, madam. Good day, madam. I am Mrs. Geeta Pandit. I am working in NTTF Dharwad since 30 years as manager. First of all, let me thank you all, wish you all happy Women's Day. Can you hear me, no? Madam?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go on. Yeah.
Since I'm engaged in administration, let me tell that there are courses which are very prominent for girls. They are CP4, that is the Diploma in Electronics, Diploma in Computer Engineering, and Diploma in Information. These are all not available in Dharwad. We have only 3 courses here. That is a tool engineering and a mechatronics engineering. And one more is a certificate program in precision machinist. That is of 1-year course. And to provide better opportunity for girls, we have reserved 30% of seats reserved for girls. Most of them are girls only 10 to 15% are taking place, only taking seats in CP15 course. We are placing these students in the company where we called G-Stamp, Toyota Industries, then PSR Tooling, PMT Machine, Varak Polymer at the average package of 2.5 lakhs per annum. Other opportunity for this, after completion of this diploma, they can even pursue for a post-diploma in tool design, and even they can pursue power electronics and industrial automation. And those who complete a diploma, they can opt for mechanical engineering only in some of the universities, that is Manipal University, Patil Engineering, and Jain University, Karuna University, and Vinayaka University. As far as girl trainee and my experience is concerned, for 30 years, girl seeks only admission in CP15. They prefer more of a CP15 course than of CP1. CP1 means that is tool engineering, as it has prospects in the automotive sector. All those years, what they have studied is only 6 girls have trained in tool engineering. All are working in design department. We have amongst us Mrs. P.V. Rajalakshmi, who is one of the role model for our trainees, who can even, she has already explained her what she has experienced all these years. I'm also proud, one of the member of this entity, but I'm not alumni, though I'm not alumni, but I have served 30 years and completed 30 years with NTTF. only because of my family members and the colleagues and the management has supported me in all the aspects. Faced many challenges in the early career. As I joined as a stenographer, then moved to assistant manager, then now I'm a manager. But I stood bold and faced them. I was always the part of the solution for the organization, handled central admission process without smart tools, software, which were available now. Till 2012, I was alone handling this centralized admission. We used to give admission to other centers also, handled 1,200 plus students' personal records without any assistance. Being an administration of the center, I involved in canteen management, hostel management, housekeeping, staff welfare, students welfare, campus infrastructure, providing facilities for girl and women staff. And I'm a legal member of POSH. This is punishment for women and sexual harassment. And I'm also a legal member of anti-ragging committee. To highlight, our center was always not visible to anyone. So to highlight my center activities, I started Namma Dharwad Samachara, and I am the leader of that monthly magazine, circulated what all activities took place in our center, and it is appreciated all over entity of center, and which motivated all the staff to get involved in positive activities. Though our girl students' strength is less, their activities are always not noteworthy and noticeable. They are participating in academic, they are taking many medals and cultural, sports, Christmas function, Ayudha Puja, and this annual day functions. At the end, my advice is to parents and the students are post content is not important. The perspective with which it is seen is important. Nothing is impossible if you are determined to achieve. Do not hesitate to get your hands dirty in industry, manufacturing industry. Industry is leading towards automation now. Hence, the job demand analytical mental skills than physical skills. Tool and die design is not about fitting shop. It is about the right feasible solution. This is what I experienced, and never ever underestimate girl or woman potential. This is what I wanted to tell. Finally, I thank entity of management as well as National Skills Network for giving me such a wonderful opportunity, and the participant for listening me so patiently. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Geeta, for sharing all the important facts about women enrollment in courses which are connected with mechatronics, tool and die making, machinist, etc. From your center. So we have picked up this as one of the exemplary centers, but there are other centers like RNTC. RNTC stands for R.D. Tata NTTF Technical Education Center in Jamshedpur, where again you have a good enrollment of girls in disciplines connected with manufacturing. So after the points which are shared by Ms. Geeta, so very elaborately, and all the positive news that she shared about girls, and also the motivational message she had about the kind of skills that are needed to be in this sector, let's move on to the other speakers who are all from RNTC Jamshedpur. So we have Ms. Neha, and then we have Ms. Mathila, and then we have two students. I'll introduce them a little later. First, let's go ahead with Ms. Neha, who's a faculty member there, who's the senior training officer. And we would like to know more from her about what it means to be a training officer in this field, and how is the response from the girls and other aspects of her profession. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madhuri. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yeah, I think you have to hold the mic, I think. Yeah.
So I really appreciate your invitation, and I also thank NTTF for providing me with the wonderful platform for sharing my experience. So when we say a balanced world is a better world, and it is, and it should be applicable everywhere. But fortunately or unfortunately, when we talk about manufacturing, the count is too less. So in general terms, around 30% is the share of women employed in this industry. And according to the World Economic Forum, 33% is the share of women in junior level, 24% in the mid-level, 15% at the senior level, and 9% as CEOs across all industries. So, but manufacturing has traditionally been a male-dominated industry, and from the speakers we have all heard it also. And personally, I have experienced it also. I did my diploma in tool and die making from NTT of Jamshedpur, and we were only 3 girls trainees out of total 47. I was in the second batch from my college, and later on was placed in one of the leading mold manufacturing company. And there also, when I look back, the count of women was very less. But now the companies are realizing that having more women on shop floor positively influences organizational culture, and it is 100% true also. Where there is a woman, there is a magic. No matter, even if it takes a whole, we handle every situation, every responsibility with a smile. Women helps to bring a inspiring work culture by bringing healthy competition, fostering teamwork, bonding, and thereby helping the company to grow its full potential. We should make our society more aware with the job opportunities in this sector. And yes, it starts from our home itself. Anytime we have thought that why women are too less in this sector, even as the industry has started to recover, women in manufacturing faces persistent problems, including sexual harassment, inequality in pay and promotion, and dissatisfaction with family leave are more likely to leave their job than as compared to women in other industries. So what we can do is we can educate more women about the opportunities and benefits of manufacturing career. And here I really thank NTTF for providing healthy and supportive environment and always encouraging women and girls trainees to do their best. So at last, I would like to conclude with this famous quote: you educate a man, you educate a man, but when we educate a woman, we educate entire generation. So happy Women's Day to all this beautiful and wonderful women out here, and thank you. Thank you, Madhuri. But here I would like to add one thing that when, can I?
Yeah, please do.
That when Raj Lakshmi ma'am was sharing her experience, means I was thinking that it was me, my journey, because she's a first member from Tool and Die Maker, and I am also did my diploma in Tool and Die Making from NTTF back in 2007. So whatever were the challenges we had faced, means that day when I am remembering that, sitting in workshop, working in shop floor, it was really tough when we think in one point of view. But we have done it, and really it's very interesting. And we should encourage more and more girls, especially girl trainees, to take up this challenge and move around. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Neha. Yeah, and I didn't know that you also have a background in tool and die making.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. And as you said, yeah, we need to encourage more women to take up, professions in the manufacturing sector, and also get trained in relevant skills through courses which are connected with them. And thank you so much for sharing your view and your experience, and also motivating other girls. to get into this stream. Because we, like Anita was saying in the keynote, that this is a sector where there is a huge gender imbalance, and we have to take many measures. And we from NSN, along with NTTF, have done our small bit today to create more awareness. And for those of you who have logged in, who are watching us live, if you have any questions, please share. And also those of you who could not log in, because I understand there are many parallel events happening today, so it must have been difficult for them to join in live, but this video is going to be there on our YouTube channel. You can always, share your queries, write to us at contact@nationalskillsnetwork.com. So let's move ahead now, and I invite Ms. Mithila, who's a training officer at NTTF RNTC Jamshedpur, to tell us more about her views, her opinion, and her experience being in the field of manufacturing related training.
Thank you, Madhuri. It's my pleasure to be a part of this program, and also thanks NTTF and NSN team members for giving me such a beautiful platform to express and share my experience regarding women in manufacturing. Women in manufacturing bring a different flavor to manufacturing. I would call it humble leadership. Women are very engaging, very flexible, and driven to get to that level of excellence, right? Skill and knowledge are the driving forces of economic growth and social innovation in India. Realizing the importance, NTTF aims to converge skill and knowledge perfectly in skill training activities to create better workforce. NTTF offers various programs which are employment-oriented and industry-focused. Moreover, this and innovative programs introduced by NTTF for skill development for youth Earn While You Learn. Earn While Learn program provides equal opportunity for male and female students to earn while they are learning through part-time jobs. Learning by doing and earning by learning is one of the most important pillars for their career development. Practical experience helps the student to gain first-hand experience for industry, and by this, they can develop their self-confidence and personality too. Every year, more than 450 plus companies are visiting around all over NTTF sector and hiring for their companies. I'm fortunate to have associated with NTTF since 2007. And I was a student at that time, and I know how it's difficult and challenging to get better position in technical background. In 2010, I got placed in Timken Bearing Manufacturing Company, and I was the second female line engineer in maintenance department. I was looking almost all the maintenance activities, whether it was machine maintenance, equipment maintenance, or machine repairing. I don't consider myself less than anyone, but it was quite difficult and at the same time proud moment also to work in another state, because I was the only female child who did diploma and worked in another state at that time. For this, I sincerely thanks to my parents and my all trainers who empowered me and imparted right skill and knowledge for sustaining in one industry. Thank you so much. Without their support, it couldn't possible. While working, I have learned and observed a lot of things, and I wanted to impart those skills to our youth, especially to our female trainees, so that they can pursue their career in manufacturing industry. Getting women involved in manufacturing can bring new skill setup and spark new ideas in workforce. So I will say success has no gender. The world is changing. It's safe, clean, high-tech environment with equal opportunity for everybody. At last, I want to say women are the world's greatest inspiration. Respect and cherish them
every single day. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Mithila. That was very inspiring, and also your story about what it means to take the first step. I think when you take the first step, you inevitably face a lot of challenges. And I think being a woman, you have that special power to overcome those challenges and prove and perform, like Ms. Rajalakshmi was saying. I really will take that advice from her for my entire life. I think unless you perform and prove and keep proving and keep performing, there is no other option, to get, because you have taken a step which nobody else has taken, right? So when you are trailblazing, I think it is inevitable that we have to face these challenges and overcome them ourselves. Thank you so much for your message. I now invite both the students, that's Namita and Ruchika, who are doing their diploma in mechatronics at RNTC. Let's hear it from these young girls about why they chose to do mechatronics and what is their career aspiration and where do they want to be, after they complete this diploma. So can you please come on video, both of you? Hi, Ruchika.
Good morning, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah. Yes, Ruchika, you can
audible?
start it. Yeah, you are audible. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. A very warm good afternoon to one and all present here. Myself, Ruchika Lal, a student of R.D. Tata Technical Training Foundation, is going to share my experience on women in manufacturing sector. Women continue to explore new opportunities and make inroads into industries. The evidence shows that attitude both in industry and among women are changing, with more and more women seeing a place for themselves in this exciting and challenging industry. According to me, women have same potential to contribute to manufacturing as men. The conscious inclusion in the industry will bring a much needed infusion of new ideas, different perspective and talent in the sector. Now, talking about my personal experience, myself as a female student, just a year back, completed my schooling and trying to get into an engineering college. The first question that arose in my mind, was it suitable for a girl to take up mechatronics as a subject, where mostly boys choose this? What's the scope for me? But seeing the changes in the industry and increase in the graph for girls opting for studies in this field, I chose it. And it was a very right decision for me so far as my studies and my manufacturing departments are concerned. At last, I would like to conclude my speech by saying that women bring collaboration, innovation, and creative thinking to the workplace. And we all would like to see more number of females engaging themselves in this field of mechatronics, tool and die engineering. Thank you, and happy Women's Day to all the women out there.
Thank you, Ruchika. That was so warm and lovely message from you, and all the excitement you showed us. It's very motivating. I'm sure many girls will get motivated by watching you perform well in your course and doing well in your career. So the excitement here is that women are not just limited to design in terms of manufacturing, they also go into production, which is a much more challenging field, right? So I think that's where the real challenge lies. So let's hear it from Namita, what she has to say about her career aspiration and the course that she's doing right now. Namita, can you please come on the video?
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, please go ahead, Namita.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to one and all present here. Myself, Namita Kumari from R.D. Tata Technical Training Institute. Today, I'm here to share my experience about women in manufacturing sector. According to studies, women barely constitute 12% in India's manufacturing sector. Therefore, attracting, retaining, and advancing women's talent in manufacturing is immediate need for business success. Well, the question we need to ask is, how do we achieve this? According to me, one way of doing this is to reshape the way people think about jobs in manufacturing. This is because labor-intensive impacted women to join industries. Now, I would like to share my experience by highlighting an incident. I saw one interview of Malika Srinivasan, who is CEO and chairperson of Tractors and Farm Equipment Limited. I'm very grateful to her as I saw that interview. She mentioned on her interview that how she was facing rejection for job just because of gender. And that time only she thought for startup for gender equality of women in manufacturing sectors too. And I saw that interview and I was very much motivated. So I opt for diploma in mechatronics. And I think I chose very right platform as NTTF gives equal opportunities to everyone. Last but not the least, gender equality today for sustainable tomorrow. Thank you and happy Women's Day to everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Namita, for that lovely message, and all the best to you. So you represent the hope for the young girls in the manufacturing sector, and we really expect that many girls take this up out of choice, because this also brings in a lot of excitement if you have an inclination towards doing things with your own hand, working with machines. And of course, things are getting automated very soon, but still, there will still be a lot of work that you have to do with your hand and be on the shop floor and things, right? And if that is something that excites young girls, I think you should consider courses in manufacturing related disciplines. Thank you, Namita, and thank you, Ruchika, for joining us today. And thank you all the panelists for being there. But before we close, one or two questions is what we can take up. There is a question for Anita. Anita, are you connected? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
Anita, also, I think the closure of your talk was not, I think getting disconnected. Maybe you can take a couple of minutes to, quickly summarize and close your talk. It would be nice to hear you close it.
Sure, thank you. I think that's an opportunity. And also having heard the other colleagues, other panelists here, I congratulate them for taking this opportunity to work in the manufacturing sector and also talking about working with their hands. And what we see is that there's a strong need, which is for changing of mindsets. And here, these ladies, they have been able to do that. But then at the larger level, there is a need to change mindsets in terms of various target groups. One is for the mothers at home. They need to bring up their daughter to be entrepreneurs and financially independent rather than, like being a dependent person. They need to train them not to shy away, but know how to work in male-dominated scenario. As you all agreed that manufacturing still is a male-dominated scenario. So how to really manage themselves, how to manage their emotions, how to manage their personality, etc., in a male-dominated scenario. The other is from the enterprise level. The enterprise should be able to change mindset by making women feel not as women, but as an equal part of the team, because work is gender agnostic. The work does not really relate with gender. So the enterprise also need to have that mindset change. The third is the institutions who are training women. They should train women to develop their own networks, because ultimately networks are crucial for the career progression, for finding new opportunities, etc., to be independent, to be able to find solutions and move out of the security bubble and not look at themselves as the weak gender. That is very crucial, because every training in the institution should be coupled with training of managing oneself in different scenarios, in the various challenging situations. And at the end of it, it is also establishing at the policy level, I would say, it's about establishing online career counseling, skill assessment tools, and opportunities for short-term paid projects and internship, which can assist in addressing information gaps, assessing and matching skills, and also increasing work experience among youth. So I think these are the 4 crucial points which I wanted to bring in here. Last, like while driving to the office, I was listening to the radio and they said that today the theme for the Women Day is gender equality for a sustainable tomorrow. And 3 of the major Indian laws that are related to this topic, which every woman must be aware of, are Equal Remuneration Act 1976, because men and women, they are supposed to get equal money for the same work that they perform. The sexual harassment of women at workplace, which is also very critical to know, which includes prevention, prohibition, and redressal, the Act of 2013. And the last is rights against domestic violence. There were 2 more, which are basically related with women as a woman, so I did not bring those. When I was looking at my Google, the International Women's Day campaign, it also comes with the theme of break the bias. And I think that is what we have been kind of focusing on more so in all our presentations. It actually brings in 5 different pointers to it. One is, imagine a gender equal world, a world free of biases, stereotypes, and discriminations, the world that is diverse, equitable, and inclusive at the same time, a world where differences are valued and celebrated, and together we all can forge the women's equality and a better tomorrow for all of us. So I think that is what I wanted to end with. Incidentally, there were issues with the network connectivity. So thank you, Madhuri, for giving me the opportunity. And thank you all for bearing with me for such a long talk.
Thank you, Anita. Glad that you could reconnect and with a better internet connection. There's a question which is there on our live YouTube live. I just thought this is for you. So Anita, are all the manufacturing giants where you have all women unit teams, do they follow equal pay policy? This is the question.
Well, I have not been able to research on that, but I'm sure there would be some documents, some research papers on that. I'll have to look for it. And I'm not even sure if all this is available on the research because it's a very confidential information for the companies. So sorry, I would not be able to provide any details on this.
Yeah, right. Thank you. And there are quite a few questions, but I'm afraid we won't be able to take all of them right now. But I would request all the speakers, in case you would want to share any other points with Anita or with our audience, please do so. We still have about 3 to 4 minutes. In the meanwhile, I would like to thank my team members, Sahitya, Pratyusha, Pranati, Ajay, Rajesh, Madhu, and all of you for being there. And, as I was saying in the beginning, whenever we plan an event like this, inevitably things are happening in the last minute and there are internet issues and there are a whole lot of other issues. But I think in spite of it, we pull it off. And this time also the story has been the same. So thank you so much, especially Ajay, for managing everything from the back end. Are there any points which anybody wants to share with the audience? If not, let's close this session. But before that, a warm note of thanks to all of you, all the speakers who joined us today at a very short notice and shared the story. Every story is so inspirational. So we tried to put up the entire story, right from Miss Anita to the youngest of all those students. We wanted to cover the entire journey of women who get into this field. I hope we were able to convey that from the senior most person to the junior most, and I really hope we managed to put it together meaningfully. Thanks a lot, Harini, Rajalakshmi ma'am, Miss Geeta, and then Mithila, Neha, and Ruchika, and Namita, and Harini, of course, for joining us today. Thank you so much. We would like to be in touch with you and wishing all of you a happy Women's Day once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.